After weather postponed Friday night's game, we're finally ready for some Big 12 baseball at the Dish. 16th ranked Texas has been as unpredictable as the Austin weather this season. Tonight, the Longhorns look to find some consistency against Big 12 foe Kansas State. It's the Wildcats and Longhorns. It's game one, and it's next on LHN. Well, welcome to an overcast and rainy Austin, Texas. We are ready to play game one after it was postponed Friday night between Kansas State and 16th ranked Texas right here at UFCU Dish Falk Field. We're ready to play some baseball. Kevin Dunn with my two All-Americans, Greg Swindell, also Keith Moreland. As All-Americans, you guys played on pretty good teams here, and the expectations when you play for Texas baseball, they're always there. As for this team, Keith, they're 13-8, and I think a lot of Texas fans are wondering what should they expect.
Well, I'm not sure, but the expectations are there. After you make a trip to Omaha, you get back into the national presence. This team felt like going into the season, it had the ability to get back there, and it still may. But they have been inconsistent, especially running the bases. There's some little things that have happened to them. They're better offensively. They just haven't been able to be as consistent to win ball games, especially late in the game, that we saw last year. A lot of that starts, though, on the mound, Greg, when you start looking at what happens 60 feet, 6 inches away.
Winning championships a lot of times is from 60 feet, 6 inches away. Texas has always had the great starting pitching. This series, especially, if you want to win championships, it starts on the mound with tonight Parker French, and your bullpen also needs to be a little more consistent. Texas has struggled there a little bit this year.
Yeah, struggled on Tuesday as UTA got a win. As for Kansas State, they come in at 11-9. Probably had their best year in school history in 2013 when they advanced to a super regional for the first time. That club and every other club, when you think of Kansas State, you think offense, Keith. How does this offense stack up?
Well, they're not as good. They don't have the power, only 3 home runs as a team, but they have 2 guys swinging the bat pretty well. Clayton Dalrymple has really done a nice job. He's been consistent, sprayed the ball across the field, but hasn't driven a lot of balls out of the park. When you look at Shane Colton, he's that guy that leads. He's been on base in all 20 ball games he's played. He's a guy that can slap it to all side. He can turn and drive it. They've been pretty consistent, but they haven't had the consistency up and down their lineup that they need to be productive offensively.
Kansas State ready to start their first Big 12 series. Texas ready to play their second. We got starting lineups, starting pitchers. We're going to play some college baseball when we get back.
We have a
Texas Baseball on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Wingstop, the wing experts with more than enough flavor to keep Austin winged.
Welcome back to the Dish. Fans filing in as they realize looks like we're going to play some baseball. Scheduled to be a doubleheader as we take a look at Brad Hill. Brad Hill is in his 12th season at Kansas State, led them to their best year ever. That was in 2013. A little bit of a drop off last year. Take a look at where they are. They do run a lot. He likes the athleticism of this team, Keith.
They'll create a lot of different ways to score. They'll bunt and run, they'll hit and run. He'll try to find a way to create some offense. And when you look at it, Tyler Moore is a junior college transfer. He supplied the power. He leads the team with 16 RBIs. He's also leads the team with 2 home runs for a team that's only hit it out of the ballpark 3 times as a team all year long.
Going to be facing Parker French. We know he likes the sinker ball, the senior. What have you seen from him this year?
Consistency. I mean, he's gone out each time, gotten better, had a career high 9 innings in his last start. His job tonight is to break up the running, the hitting and running, and by keeping runners off base for one, but also times to first.
Carter Yagi, the DH, will lead it off. We're underway. Ball 1. Rare to have a DH leading off. Does have 2 multi-hit games over the last 6 contests.
It was interesting. We were talking with Brad Hill before the game, guys, and one of the things he said, he says, you know, I've got to find different ways to try to score. We just haven't been a team that can go to the plate and just whack the ball around the field. We got to be creative, use our speed.
And therefore a strike.
Well, I mean, you see teams around the nation, I mean, hitting home runs left and right. When you only have 3 at this point in the season, you have to generate something.
Chopped. Boswell cannot cut it off, and CJ Hinojosa will just eat it.
Really tough play to his left right there. That's that in-between hop when you're going to get a scoot hop. We've had a lot of moisture here. As he goes to his left right here, he makes the decision to back up and try to take the hop. The top spin sort of gets a bounce on it. You know, I would tell you, I think Brett Boswell will tell you, I got to make that play 95 times out of 100. I'd call it E5. We'll see what they call it.
They call it an E5. Third error this season for Boswell. Redshirt freshman as Clayton Dalrymple steps up. Show bunt. As Keith mentioned, they're going to do anything they can to create runs, having only 3 home runs.
Not a bad time right here to hit and run.
Junior from Coppell, Texas.
You might see him fake bunt, hit and run, too. Try to get the infield moving.
You see a new look over there at first base.
That's Casey Clemens over there.
Number 42 back over there.
Getting his first start in the field. I've seen him pitching this year. Gets the bunt down. He'll get the job done as French underhands it to Casey Clemens. Zeke, would you underhand that?
I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, from any point, if you're going to underhand it, maybe get a little closer to first base. That was a pretty long underhanded toss right there by Parker French, and it was almost in the dirt. Casey Clemens with a good play. I'm one to more come over the top and throw it from your normal slide, but sometimes Parker French can sink that ball to first, too, so maybe not a bad idea for Parker to go underhand with it.
Here's Shane Conlon hitting .351. He was a freshman who was pretty impactful on the 2013 Super Regional team.
It's been really consistent.
Good fastball.
He looks to hit, though. He's very aggressive at the plate. He will chase some pitches outside the zone. As that pitch, that was a two-seamer that was outside, but counts even now.
Two and one. To the senior from Naperville, Illinois. Facing another senior.
Good athletic program just in the Chicago suburb north of town. All sports, they do a really good job.
This is fouled out of play. That's rare you get two seniors, especially good seniors, matching up.
Yeah, I would think these two guys have faced each other before.
Yes, they have, and Conlon's been successful against Texas. Had kind of a down year last year, as Kansas State did in general. Good lead and dancing is Yagi, but he's going to stay there, and it's 3-2.
Rivera stepped up that time, and he almost came out of his stance as a catcher. If you do that, you got to call time yourself as a catcher, and because Parker was paying attention to the guy at second, if you want time as a catcher, call time right now. The home plate umpire will give it to you.
Upstairs and a walk. You go to the changeup there, Greg?
To a 3-2 break it ball, more of the slider pitch. Just up in the zone. Not a bad idea with Conlon up and a base open. Yes, it is the first inning, but Conlon's a pretty good hitter. Now you can set up a double play.
Brings up Steve Saratori. Saratori hitting .299. He's a sophomore. Timing plays back.
First pitch is important right here for me. Need to get ahead of this hitter.
He does. 0-1.
That's a big pitch to me. Now it sets up, you can do some different things. You were pitching around, I think, their best hitter. I think if you just look at it, even though it's early in the game, if he's a guy that's aggressive, and Shane Conlon, he'll go outside the zone. So you were going to be careful with him. Now it's an opportunity that you had to get ahead right here. Maybe you can get a double play ball.
Line past Brett Boswell. They're going to send home Yagi. And Kansas State takes a 1-0 lead.
That's what you want to do with Parker French right there. Try to take that sinker the other way. This pitch up in the zone a little bit. You'll see here from Parker. Doesn't have much sink on it or movement, just kind of tails away, but a good job right there by Serratori to take it the other way right by Boswell.
Almost caught that ball in the air. Almost got right to it.
Danny Krause now up. This could be 2. Marlowe to Hinojosa. 4-6-3, and French able to work himself out of a jam. But Kansas State gets out on top with a run. We'll take a look at the Texas lineup when we get back. Welcome back. Augie Garrido in his 19th season here at Texas. He's won 7 Big 12 titles. Longhorns have shown some power at home this year, not only with the new baseball, but also a new lineup. They're coming off a 6-5 loss in 10 innings against UTA. We take a look at their lineup, and, well, the guy who stands out to you, a lot of guys do, but who needs to get hot for this team?
Well, when Colin Shaw hits and gets on base, this team wins. So he's really had a great start for the senior from Westlake, but you know, you look at it, but he's the guy that's got to get on base. The other guy, I'm not going to kid you, that you look at, it's unusual to see in the lineup, is Casey Clements. As Zeke talked about earlier, you know, trying to get another bat in the lineup. There has not been a lot of production out of that 9th guy in the order, where it be the DH with Cantu at first. So this time you allow Cantu to get some rest. He can stay on as the DH. He'll catch one of the games today, and probably that would give both of the catchers, Barrera and Cantu, a day off, or half a day off, so to speak, from being behind the plate, not being on the field.
They're going to be facing Nate Greep. He is the staff ace.
He is the ace. The best arm on the staff. You see his numbers there. He's a over the top pitcher. Good fastball. He can get up to 94 miles an hour. He's had 5 starts this year, 4 quality starts, 4 in a row coming into this game. Good numbers.
Ben Johnson will lead it off for Texas. Ben leads the club with a .413 average. He's having a monster junior season. .450 on base percentage. Seemed like I had more zip than 83.
Gun might be a little
wet.
waterlogged too.
Yeah, about to say, yeah. See, Ben is second in the Big 12 with that .413 average. It's 2-0.
Short armor. That's what I see right off the bat. The first thing you see, it might be difficult to pick the ball up out of his hand. It's something that might be somewhere down the line. The second time through might be a little easier to see.
3-0. In there for a strike. Ben only has 3 walks on the year. He struck out 13 times. Fouls that back. 3-2.
Yeah, Ben's going hacking. He comes to the plate swinging the bat. Sometimes that gets him, especially when he gets in these kind of counts right here, where he sometimes goes outside the zone. Everybody hitting over 400 at this point of the season, though. He's done a pretty good job.
And he takes his 4th walk of the year, and Texas has a leadoff base runner. We'll bring up your guy, Colin Shaw, second in the country with 13 doubles. Got 26 hits, half of those doubles. Ben 2 for 4 this year, stealing bags. gets the bunt down. This will get the job done. Conlon just tags Shaw, and sacrifice is good. Well, one of the things Augie told me before the game is that he would like, he's told you guys this, to add some more elements to the offense. He feels like they have guys that can run, but they've had problems just doing basic stuff on the base pass.
Well, you would think hit and run, do some other things. I think guys get a little panicky. They've been picked off a few times, and all of a sudden they get real cautious. It's hard to play this game cautious. You got to sort of let it go in all facets. You're a pitcher, you got to let it go. If you're a runner or a base runner or a hitter, you got to let it go. You can't feel for it, can't try to force the action. You got to let the action happen.
Here's C.J. Hinojosa. C.J. not happy with the 224 average, but that's gone up, and it feels like it's going to be a little bit better. As take a look at what Texas did in the first 9 games compared to the last 12.
Ben Johnson coming in to this season had never been thrown out. So now he's been thrown out. He's been picked off. He's gun shy.
Yep.
He's a little timid. You know, what if I do go? What if I do get thrown out? Well, you're fast. You can go. You can keep going. Exactly.
I think more of those were actually pickoffs than they were getting gunned down.
Right.
Breaking ball in there for a strike.
Agree. That's a good pitch. I mean, a good curveball. He uses fastball both sides of the plate, lefties and righties. Got a very good split finger too. Changeup.
Goes back to it, and Hinojosa lifts it in the air. Coming in will be the left fielder Krause. There's 2 away.
CJ'd like to have this pitch back, guys. This is a curveball, 3rd one in a row he's seen, and this one stays up. As you come back to it, watch it stay right up here in the top part of the zone. It stays up there. It actually ties him up just enough that he doesn't get on top of it. And that was a pitch he'd like to have back. As a hitter, when you see 3 pitches in a row and one of them, the 3rd one's up, you should be able to have a good swing at it.
Yeah, there's Tres Barrera. Who did last season against Kansas State. And Tres with that little protector. After taking one in the face, kind of hit his cheek and also the helmet. That was last weekend, so a little protection here. Keith, how much does that affect you?
Well, I talked with him. He said, I wore it on Tuesday night. It really didn't affect me. I didn't feel out of place with it. Sometimes it makes you feel uncomfortable. It's something you're not used to. But he said it was fine, and he swung the bat fine. He says, I was upset the way the game ended, but as far as hitting, it's not affecting his vision. And I don't think it's something you'll see him with in 3 weeks. I just think for right now, it's more of a precautionary thing.
Not hit well, but this may drop. And it does. Well, sometimes when you're struggling, you need some help. Barrera going for second, and he's in there. 1-1.
Sometimes hitting is a matter of hitting it where they ain't, and that's exactly what Tres Barrera did here. He's tied up with this fastball just inside the line. And goes for extra bases, does a nice job of hustling the entire time, gets into scoring position, ties the ball game up. Go back to the leadoff walk. We had a leadoff miscue by Texas, leads to a run. A leadoff walk leads to a run for Texas on the offensive side.
Runner in scoring position. Barrera has his 5th double of the season. That brings up Brooks Marlowe. Augie feels like Marlowe is starting to turn it on. Senior with 3 home runs on the year. And they're for a strike. Well, Brad Hill told us, he said if he can get his breaking ball over, he's usually pretty good.
It was going to be the key for Nate Griep tonight against Texas, was getting that breaking ball over. He has a good fastball, but whenever you can get that breaking ball over, whenever you want, anytime you want, I mean, it just opens up the fastball inside and out.
Base hit to left field. They're going to hold up Barrera. But the second hit for Texas. Marlowe now has a 9-game hitting streak.
Well, that's really nice right here. Fastball away, doesn't try to do too much with it, goes with it away, just stays on top of it. Hands get down, his hands stay back. Front half gets down, and his hands stay back. Does a nice job just poking that in the other way for a base hit. And shallow, that's pretty good job of aligning your defense, because you would think right there you would send the runner, but the depth, there was no chance to send the runner right there, even with 2 outs.
Krause in left is actually coming in right now with a guy on third and 2 outs. There's Brett Boswell, third baseman, who had an error in the first inning, which led to a run. Boswell at 262. Coach is not worried about him. They feel like he's going to be just all right. They love his temperament.
Anytime you try to make a pickoff throw in a first and third situation, first and foremost, yes, you'd love to get the pickoff, but don't throw it away right here.
Right. Well, 2-0. He's had first pitch balls to 5 of the 6 batters. It's another thing that Coach Hill said, and Keith asked him about the pitching, and he said, well, we're not getting ahead of people.
Yep.
Kansas State comes in at 11-9. This is their first Big 12 series. We're at third, Marlowe at first. We're tied at 1. Back to the breaking ball, 2-1.
Well, Greg, you said it earlier. The one thing he has been consistent with, the one pitch he can throw for strikes, the breaking ball right now. He's been really inconsistent with his fastball.
Very consistent in the breaking ball. He's keeping it away from the left-handers, which is pretty smart in this situation, because lefties like that ball low and in. I would think he would continue to throw that same pitch.
2-1, now 3-1.
All of a sudden, this is a pitch away from being a great opportunity for Texas to get some separation here early in the game. Make a mistake here.
Had a good hack and fouled it back.
He did have a good hack at that one on a fastball. 3-1. Expecting it, got it, just missed it. I think he comes back with a 3-2 breaking ball right here.
I totally agree with you. Especially with the right-handed hitting Cantu on deck. I think you go with the breaking ball right here.
Marlowe will be taken off. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Still got to be careful with that third to first move if you're Brooks Marlowe. Just because the first baseman's not holding you on, he can still do the move. Got to make sure he goes to the plate.
Takes off, and it's ball 4. Well, Keith, a big opportunity for a guy who's been pretty good with opportunities in front of him, and Michael Cantu.
Well, he's been his best as a hitter when he's had runners in scoring position. He's really performed quite well for a true freshman. Probably going to prompt a visit, and it does. So you just start looking at the whole scenario. A lot of pitches used, 22 here in the first inning. You know, you toe the rubber, and I'm going to refer to you, Greg, a little bit here. You toe the rubber on the road, and your offense gives you a 1-0 lead in a pretty hostile environment. You got to feel pretty good. Hey, I don't have to worry about making many mistakes here. I've got a 1-0 lead. Well, you've already gone out and thrown a quarter of the pitches you want to throw for the day.
Yeah, I think he's being too nitpicky right now, trying to strike hitters out instead of trusting his stuff, trust the fastball. He's really trying to get a feel for the fastball right now. The breaking ball seems the one that he can get over the plate. He's fallen behind the Texas hit. And Texas, Brooks Marlowe did a great job of just hitting one out to left field. And Tress got jammed, and the ball just floated out to right for him. So you also need to catch a break with that. I'd look for Michael Cantu to sit on a breaking ball right here.
Here's a true freshman from Corpus Christi. Bases loaded. Comes with a breaking ball, but he misses.
This is one thing Texas, Michael Cantu hasn't had much of a problem with. Bases loaded. Texas has left the bases loaded quite a few times this year, where if they get one hit here or there, it could mean a couple more wins.
They've had some games that have been that tight too. A 13-8 record could look a lot different, and as you guys have said, it's time to get going. That man totally agrees with that.
Aiming it a little bit right now. He's not letting it go. He's trying to throw a strike, letting it instead of letting it go.
2-0 in there.
Probably got some nerves in there too. This Kansas State team's been on a nice spring break, huh? They go to Nacogdoches, get rained on. They come here, get rained on. They played one game the past week.
Two and two.
That's a good pitch right there in a 2-1 count. Cantu's looking fastball. I would have been looking fastball as a hitter right there. Being able to drop that 2-1 pitch in for a strike. Now you just got to see it and make contact.
The 2-2. Ooh, close. He thought he had it on the mound, but Greep did not get the call.
No, Greep needs to collect himself. This is a good pitch. Right over the middle of the plate by Greep. Didn't get the call. Maybe a little down, but big pitch right here.
Crowd's getting into it. Base runners will be off. 3-2, 2 outs. Ball 4. Texas takes the lead. Third walk of the inning for Greep. He came in with only 13 and 34 2/3.
The 2-2 pitch just downstairs, and then the 3-2 pitch looked to be just inside. Cantu lays off both of them.
What an eye. Wow.
That's I couldn't take either one of them. I tell you, I'd have been hacking at both of them.
Here's Casey Clemens. Big opportunity in his first start at first this year. Takes ball 1.
You got a great chance to separate yourself early in this game right here. One big base hit right here could make a huge difference in this game.
And therefore, strike. That really has been his best pitch. Casey struggled last year at the plate. He was dynamite defensively at first. Like you said, he's been swinging it and swinging it well in practice. Two and one.
Now you start to throw good pitches, and you don't get calls. That ball was low, but you start aiming even more because you're trying to hit that perfect spot, trying to find the strike zone right now.
And then the hitters are being, hey, he's not throwing a lot of strikes, so they're being very cautious as well.
That misses. 3-1. Brandon Corville has already headed down to the Kansas State bullpen. There is number 36.
You hacking right here?
I'm taking 3-1. I'm taking
The 3-1. It's in there.
exactly what Casey was doing too. I just think you had to force him to try to throw a strike. Pressure again back on him here. 3-2.
And you get the runners in motion.
Marlowe is at third. Boswell at second. Cantu is at first. Here is the 3-2. Lined right at the second baseman, Woodkey. Casey put the barrel on it, but Texas able to get 2 runs thanks to a CNI double from Tres Barrera. welcome back. Texas and Kansas State. They were slated to play game one last night. The rain took care of that. So this is what's going to happen. We got this game obviously going on. This is game one of the series. Now, 2 games are completed today, and there is a scheduled game 45 minutes after this one. Game 3 scheduled for Sunday will happen at 1 p.m. Central. Now, if 1 or no games are completed today, there will be a double header scheduled for tomorrow, and that's going to start at 10 a.m. Central. One additional note to that is that we will not start game 2 after 8 o'clock tonight.
And there will be a test on all of that. It's so
I want to make sure you got all that.
I'm telling you, I was trying to read that last night, like we all were, trying to figure out what. I've got a degree. I'm not sure I can figure this out.
Here's Tyler Moore, junior college transfer. He's been pretty good behind the plate.
I got the email and I handed it to my wife Lauren. I said, "Here, decipher this for me."
Can you figure that one out?
Decode it.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, if they don't play this," and it went right through it. I'm like, "Oh, you've been watching a lot of baseball."
1 for 3 is 333.
Well, right, exactly. What Augie says, game only goes up to 9. You don't need to know too much math, but to make it really simple, try to simplify it. We're obviously playing this game. If this game ends at anywhere from 7:40 or after, we're going to play 2 tomorrow, starting at 10.
Okay.
Parker French with a strikeout.
See Parker right here. Bring in the fastball. Stay just on the inner half of the plate. Belt high. Kind of tough to figure out the zone right now. I think both pitchers are still trying to figure it out.
I think it's a higher zone than we had anticipated.
The low one isn't being called, but that pitch there above the belt.
And then
that one
is not called a strike.
Sometimes that can get on you. I mean, as a starting pitcher, you want to know. You want to have a feel for the strike zone, and kind of hard to figure it out. You got to throw it right down the middle.
That's in there for a strike.
You know it as a hitter too. All right, there's a very small zone here. I can be really, really patient.
Max Brown hits as well, but foul. Brown's a big kid. He's 6'6", senior from North Bend, Washington. Plays center field and been red hot as of late. Parker's got a big strike zone to work with here, though, guys.
Bigger than most. The big man in the box.
He's got 7 hits in the last 5 games. It's more than he had in the previous 10 games. Kevin Dunn, Greg Swindell, Keith Moreland, 59 degrees on the big board. The rain luckily has stopped for now. Counts full. Got him to chase it. And his 2nd consecutive strikeout.
Really, really good feel for that breaking ball by Parker French. Came up and in with the fastball 2-2, and look at this. That ball just drops off the table. That is a outstanding pitch. Great location. See Parker stay with it right there. A little fired up after it too.
Yeah. 2 outs for Tyler Wolf. Wolf, base hit to right field. Hit that on the nose.
Inside out swing. Tried to stay on top of his fastball. Again, Parker elevated right there. He's been a little inconsistent keeping it down. This ball is above the belt. He's got some velocity, though. Wolf had a tough time catching up to it, but did stay on top of it.
Nine-hole guy Jake Woodkey. Woodkey swinging at the first pitch.
One little better angle from Parker. Angled downhill, wasn't flat. Stayed on top of it. Kept his hand on top of the ball and drove that one down in the zone.
Jake struggling hitting .213.
Craig, one of the things that you and I know just being around the game, but you especially as a pitcher, underneath and on top of the baseball, if you can get on top and get those two fingers on top of it, it creates so much different movement, and it usually keeps the ball down in the zone.
That's the most important thing. Parker's natural arm slot is kind of 3/4, but if he can keep his hand on top of it, you're going to get a lot of run if your hand's on the side of the ball.
And then the breaking ball, too, it allows you to stay on top of the breaking ball.
Pitch out.
Something that's just one of those things that some head coaches, some pitching coaches, some catchers like to have that pitch out. At 0-2, I'd soon go after it with my good stuff to get that hitter. If he runs, my job as a catcher is throw him out.
Brown has attempted 6 stolen bases.
Because now you turn around and you throw a really good breaking ball right there, Greg, and you look up and it's 2-2 from an 0-2 count. So it's just, I don't like the wasted pitch sometimes. Now, if you got a guy that goes every time he's at first, that's a different story.
It's like flipping the coin right there. You're exactly right. You might as well just throw your own semi-pitch out just up in the zone away instead of a full pitch out where the runner, if he is going, can see it. Parker with a good job of getting ahead of hitters. First 3 hitters of the game. He didn't throw first pitch strike last 6. He's got ahead of him 4 times. First pitch strike.
He had Wolf leaning a little bit there.
Well, 2-2's the count to run on.
So Wolf's taken off. He is taken off. Doesn't matter. Strikeout for Fringe. Wolf gets the single, but Tyler Moore went down. Max Brown went down. And so did Jake Woodkey. Texas leads 2-1.
Is constantly being refreshed.
After 2, Texas leads Kansas State 2-1. This is game 1 of the 3-game set. Not the crowd we expected, not the crowd we had last weekend, and obviously weather has a lot to do with that, as Austin, man, it's just been really for the last couple months, guys. It seems like it's raining almost every day.
It's not filling our lakes, though. It's a lot of it is from here and south. Lake Travis still looks like a river.
Top of the lineup, Yagi, Dalrymple, and Conlon. There's Carter Yagi. Good-looking cut. He reached on the Brett Boswell air and scored the only Kansas State run.
That one ate him up.
It did. Lined. Not as much of a line drive as I thought when I saw that, but he got it up and he got it over Brooks Marlowe, and that is the 3rd hit for Kansas State.
Unlike the first pitch of the at-bat that really bit and went down in the zone.
You see the pitch before, Greg, you were talking about is right down on his back foot. This one just stays up. Starts out in the same spot, only it stays up. The first one dropped on his back foot, as you said, ate him up. And that's the difference. When we talk about dropping one on the back foot of a hitter, it's exactly what we're talking about. You really got to get it to come down on that back foot, because if you leave it up, you're in trouble.
Hit and run. Marlowe thought about second. Will go to first. Nice play by Brooks Marlowe as he was heading over to cover the bag.
It was a real good play by Brooks Marlowe. He was, like you said, Kevin, going to cover second. With his momentum, he has to shift, get back down. Thought about going to second base, but wisely got the out at first base. Very good play by Brooks Marlowe, the reigning Gold Glove winner at second base in college baseball.
When you think about that, guys, if he doesn't make that play, 1st and 3rd with Shane Conlon up and no one out. Well, they were careful with Shane last time and walked him. Do you do the same thing here?
Man, I'll be careful with him. Throw some balls out of the zone. Do have the 1-run lead, but this is a very good hitter in the box right now. You see, there's reached base safely 21 straight games.
2-0.
I'm more careful now. If you'd asked me that question 0-0, I'd agree with Greg, but now 2-0, I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to be real careful right here. If I walk him, I walk him.
And for a strike.
Backdoor breaking
Well,
ball.
that's being careful. Yeah.
Yagi at second. Trying to score for the second time in this game and tie it up. Line to left field, base hit. They're going to send him. Here comes the throw from Johnson. Got him.
You got to love that right there. Ben Johnson did a good job of coming in on this baseball. But the throw, Trace Barrera behind home plate. Throw beats the runner. Calls him out. Look at this throw right here by Ben Johnson. Right on the line. One hopping Trace Barrera. Gets his hand in there. Trace Barrera gets the call on him, or the tag on him, and gets the call.
That's pretty close.
It was close, but the little back, the one step back is where you're talking about there. Trace backed up to get the hop. I believe he did get his right hand as he tried to come down and touch the plate. But as a catcher, a lot of times you can't give that ground. Sometimes you have to stay up there and make sure that guy can't get to the plate. That's a really nice job of catching the hop, because it was that in-between type hop that's going to scoot on this wet turf. But a nice job, as you mentioned, by Ben Johnson attacking it. That was the difference. He attacked the base hit, made sure cut the distance down.
A strong throw.
French not out of it yet. We'll take another look.
I believe he got him right there, right as he was reaching around to try to get to the plate. I believe he did get him before he got on the plate.
Throw did beat him. There's Steve Saratori. He's gone to the breaking ball a lot. Does his sinker not look the same to you today?
It's up. A lot of pitches are up, and when a sinker ball is up in the zone, it's obviously not moving. It flattens out. That's what Conlon hit to left field. He has thrown some good ones. He struck out Woodkey to end the second inning with a real good sinker.
Play by French. Another underhand, but showing the athleticism. And he got some help from his left fielder. Ben Johnson was a quarterback in high school. You see it when he throws from left. Parker French coming out for his fourth inning of work. Texas leading Kansas State 2-1. Game one of a scheduled doubleheader here. Not play game two if it starts after 8 p.m. and need about 45 minutes in between games. If this one ends at 7:30, we'll still play that game number two, assuming the weather is okay. Kansas State got a run in the first inning on an error. Parker French has been pretty good since then. Wildcats do have 4 hits. They've out-hit Texas 4-2. And Danny Krause is going to lead it off for K-State. Krause hit into a 4-6-3 double play. I mentioned Texas had some opportunities. That was one for Kansas State to add more.
A good pitch in on the hands. And a good turn by the middle infielder. Yeah, the game sort of got into a different flow than we had earlier in the game. We really had a lot of activity and a lot of things happen now. Pitchers taking control of the ball games.
2-1. And the junior from Germantown, Wisconsin. Oswell. Range is over, and there's one out. He does have 3 errors and 1 today, but guys, he's been pretty smooth all year long at third base, considering he's really a shortstop by nature.
Well, he's done a nice job. I'm sorry, Greg. The other part that I got is the depth he was able to play. Because he's has a good arm. He's been a shortstop all of his life, and he's playing third now. But he has great depth. He can play way behind the bag. This gives you more range, and he has the arm strength that he's comfortable to throw it across the diamond.
Tyler Moore as a pitcher, what do you like about him over there?
Well, you're comfortable with it because he can make the play in. We've seen him make the plays down the line. He's relaxed. He throws the ball good to first base. I mean, that's always the key. It's been a struggle for some third basemen here at Texas. I played with a few, but he just makes you feel comfortable that if the ball's hit to him, the error earlier in the game, I'm sure Parker French was just as surprised as anyone on the field when that happened. But he's made the adjustment good. He has good reactions down there. Third base, a big reaction position, and he reacts to the ball well.
You're going to get a text from Dodd Johnson here.
Well, I didn't strike everybody out, so he made some errors.
3-1.
Well, if you played on the field and you're a player, you've made errors.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
But I think, like Augie said, it's how you deal with it. And Brett, you don't know if he's made 2 errors in an inning or 3 great plays, because that's what he looks like. And more able to get a piece. Tyler's a junior from Shawnee, Kansas. Also a junior college transfer from Coffeyville Community College. To left field, base hit, 5th one of the day for the Wildcats.
This guy's a tactic hitter. You make a mistake upstairs, and they're going to get the barrel of the bat on the ball. And it's a nice job again. Once this ball's elevated up above the belt, does a nice job of clearing his front hips. Just ripping it into left.
Here's Max Brown. Well, they've had a base hit now in every inning. It's underneath this one, ranging back is Gurwitz. Makes the play, and retreating back to first is Moore. There's 2 outs.
With that fly out to center, Parker French in his career against Kansas State, just the 6th fly out to 37 ground outs.
Wow. That is a great stat. Is that Brian, our stat guy?
Some great stats right there on the ball.
No doubt about that. 2 outs. Tyler Wolf is up. Tyler has one of those 5 singles. Got that back in the 2nd inning. And that was sandwiched around 3 strikeouts in that inning.
You would like to get an out right here, and that way not the top of the order wouldn't be coming to the plate in the 5th. Very defensive swing there.
What happened right there?
Started the bat forward and then stopped right in the middle. See him have a little smile there. You can see him started forward. Oh, I want to stop. No, I can't.
Well, that's the best angle right there. A little bit more of a cut, but still came up with nothing. 1 and 2. Well, Greg, you got to feel pretty confident as a pitcher after those 2.
You have him fooled right now on the fastball down the middle and that breaking ball. I mean, you got to keep the ball away from him right now. He's obviously not seen it very well, and Parker's putting it where he wants to.
1-2, able to make contact. But Marlowe will go to Clemens, and Kansas State is done here in the 4th inning. The seniors scattered 5 hits. Texas leads by 1. Texas will send 8, 9, and 1 to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that means Casey Clemens will get his 2nd at-bat of the game, as he got his first start at first this season. And Casey, first time up, looked pretty good. Had the bases loaded and hit a seed to 2nd. But Woodkey made the play. So, guys, one of the reasons Casey is in there is not only is good defensively at first, but Augie has not gotten much production, Keith, from the DH spot. So you move Cantu there and give Casey a shot.
Well, he's given a lot of different guys the opportunity, and nobody's really taking advantage of that. When you're given a chance, you gotta do your job and take advantage of that opportunity, and nobody's been able to do that. And Casey, there obviously will be a guy. I believe he'll pitch either tomorrow at some point, either as the starter in the 2nd game tomorrow or the 1st game if we get 2 in tonight. When with that, it gives him the opportunity to swing the bat. Boy, he did it the first time up. He worked the count well, got a good pitch to hit, and hit it right on the button.
2-0.
And when he's out there at first base, one of the best in the nation last year over there, saving runs, picking balls out of the dirt.
3-0. Grebe with 17 batters. Only 4 has he thrown first pitch strikes, and 2 of those were bunt attempts. He's been getting behind. Already a career high in walks. Touches the bottom of the zone for a strike. Well, Texas has led off 3 out of the 4 innings with walks.
Well, I think you'll see the bunt here with Gerwitz coming to the plate.
Yeah, Texas today using the hit and run, trying to use the bunt, going away from what they've been doing, trying to hit the long ball.
Well, it's not a great day to hit here. It's a big ballpark. It's not. Wind is coming in, a little bit of a wind anyway from the north.
Thought about going to second. I think he may have had it, but get the sure out, and Gerwitz gets the sacrifice. Greg, you go to second there?
Well, you did the right thing. Did Grebe. I mean, you look, you got to be 100%, because if you don't get Casey Clemens, I mean, he's 3/4 of the way down there. If he's going to do it right there. He hesitated, got the out of Gerwitz at first base.
I think he might have went in and grabbed it and didn't get it cleanly and had to go back in again. And when he did that, he had to go to first base. I think if he comes up that clean, he's going to second.
Here's Johnson. Been walked and scored in the first, also grounded out to short. A lot of first pitch breaking balls. As you guys have said, really, that's been his pitch, his most effective pitch.
It was an effective pitch to Ben Johnson. If you put it in a good location, he's going to be swinging.
He had him dancing a little bit.
We just have not seen the velocity that I anticipated seeing.
No.
And so I think it's made it a little bit different for Nate today. I think he's pitched around knowing that he doesn't have a great fastball, so he's used his breaking ball probably a little more than he normally has, and you can see those 6 walks. That is a career high. That's really the difference in the game. He's only allowed the 2 base hits.
When you're not at 100%, like I said, you have to concentrate more. You're battling yourself out there, making good pitches when he needs to, and got lucky on his part, I guess, when the line drive to Casey Clemens hit the second base with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
His next pitch will be his 75th. Johnson's been great with runners in scoring position. It's a pretty good breaking ball that is skied to second. Underneath it is Woodkey, and there's 2 outs.
So many times, as we mentioned earlier in the game, for me as a hitter, there's so many times that I know I'm going to get this pitch, and I'm hacking at it no matter what. That ball was down. It would have been outside the zone down. Again, but Johnson's thinking in his mind, I'm going to get a breaking ball. You see it, and you just can't stop yourself from going swinging at it. Instead of making it a strike, you know, if I'm looking for a breaking ball strike, that's a lot different than a breaking ball that's outside the zone.
Foul, an 0 for 1 sacrifice back in the first. So popped up in the second. Senior from Westlake having a dynamite year. To center. Going back is Brown. What a play, and he needed all 6'6" of his frame to make that one. Wow, Shaw gave it a ride. Brown was there. We'll talk with Augie when we get back. Texas leads Kansas State 2-1. We go to the 5th inning. Joining us now, the winningest coach in college baseball. It's Augie Garrido.
Coach, hit a few balls on the button. Kids are taking good swings, just not finding the hole right now.
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that. What our objective was offensively is take quality at bats, and they're doing that. And they're taking the same kind of at bat with runners on base and without runners on base. So I like the consistency of their plate discipline and the way they're hitting the ball.
And for Parker, he's done a nice job trying to keep the ball down when he's made mistakes, and not many of them has been up a little bit in the strike zone.
Yeah, this umpire is not a low ball umpire, as you've seen. For both teams, he's not calling that low pitch, so he has to move it up into the strike zone a little bit, and they've been able to capitalize, but he's pitching a good ball game.
Augie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It changes everybody when the umpires has got a different zone. It changes Greg as a pitcher. It changes what he does. It changes me as a hitter.
Well, the last thing you want to do is have to throw a strike up in the zone. Where do hitters like it? Up in the zone.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you have to do it. So both pitchers have done an outstanding job. There's only been 7 hits in the game, and you're pretty much having to throw it to a pinhole to get a strike call.
Mike Morris is calling balls and strikes today.
Now, you can't be upset as long as he's consistent, stays with that same zone all day long. You know what it is.
Foul. You guys have talked about that, and we saw a very low zone last weekend, but it was consistently low.
Well, that's what frustrates you as a pitcher. One, if you get a call, one at bat, and then the game's getting tighter and deeper into the game, and excuse me, now all of a sudden you don't get that call, you just want them to be consistent.
That was up. Woodkey not able to do much. Going back, and it's a tougher play than a lot of people think. Marlowe makes it, and there's one out. Big out to get as the lineup turns over now.
Yeah, there's no question. You just want to have consistency on both sides, as a hitter or a pitcher. You just used to drive me crazy as a catcher. Say, look, if I'm going to get that strike here when I'm at the plate, you're going to give it to that pitcher, and then when I'm catching, I want that same pitch.
0-1. Carter Yagi. He scored the only run for Kansas State in this game. Well, Keith, whenever you were catching, would you maybe not give as much lip, knowing that you had to sit back there and talk to him?
Oh, no, I was talking to him probably more than at any other time.
Because you knew him a little more.
You know, I've got a guy on the mound, and I'm catching. He's saying, where's that pitch? And I got to give him an answer. Did you not ask him? And I said, well, I'm back here talking to him all the time.
Taylor Teagarden was the best.
You just asked Zonk if he'd ever been tight-lipped.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. That's a good point. 0-2. Good point, stupid question.
Hate to pick on a man while he's sick.
I'm trying here.
Zonk is
he's doing great.
He's a little under the weather.
Playing under the weather. Two. That's upstairs. See Trace with that baseball hit the bottom. You mean I want that lower? A lot lower.
He also wanted the call, I think.
Okay.
He made a pitch. Location, everything was there, just up a little bit. That one with some good sink.
Kevin Dunn, Greg Swindell, Keith Moreland here. 16 pitches, 14 have been strikes from Parker French. He is filling up the zone. It's even.
Nothing drives you crazy, though, to be 0-2 to 3-2. I'm going to make it happen here.
Ring him up.
Well, you throw it enough times, you'll get the call. Parker French goes to it right here. You see, kind of drops down a little bit. Ball stayed out on the outside corner. Carter Yagi said, wait a minute, that was a ball before.
No, that's up. That was the longest at-bat of the game. That was 8 pitches. And therefore, strike to Clayton Dalrymple. Not that.
Difference is that last category. 10 base on balls, 1 today.
Yep.
Hard to overcome free passes.
Hossa ranging over, gets the short hop on the run, makes the play. Nice play by C.J. Hinojosa. Texas with a 1-run lead. We'll talk with Coach Hill next.
Addiction.
2013 was a magical season in the Little Apple. 45 wins, most in program history. They won the Big 12. First time they're conference champs since 1933. Brad Hill was coach of the year in the Big 12. And they advanced to their first ever College World Series Super Regional, losing in 3 games. But it drastically changed just how people look at this program. And it seemed like they'd been building that for a couple years, getting Texas kids and had some pretty good offenses. But that was it for Kansas State. That's the year.
Well, it culminated a growth, and 4 out of 6 times the last 6 years they've been to regional. So all of a sudden now you don't look at Kansas State, well, you know, they're a cold weather team and this is going to happen. As boy, Parker French did something right there as I was explaining that a little bit. I guess his cleat got stuck. That's always scary as a pitcher. He did the right thing though, Greg, didn't he, to finish the pitch as best he could?
Continue, exactly. Look at it. He's laughing at himself. You see his spike it went up onto the pitching rubber and it made his back foot slip a little bit.
1-1. Rain's starting to come down a little more. It stayed at about 59 degrees all day. Laced with foul.
You need guys like Shane, though, it's at the plate right now, you know, to take some of that, what happened in 2013 and that experience and transfer it to the guys that are coming along. I mean, for Greg, when he came to campus here, there were teams before that. They had just won the national championship the year before. So you had to have people take that along. When I got here, you know, you had Bert Hooten and James Street and some other guys leaving. It had taken a team to Omaha 3 or 4 times, and we just stepped into those roles and kept going.
Sharply, Marlowe stays down on it. And Conlon really the only offensive player from that 2013 team that had a huge impact, and he's having a nice senior year. But a big first out for Parker French, and that'll bring up Steve Saratori.
They've got the new ballpark. It's really a nice ballpark, Toington Family Stadium. So it's a nice setup now at KSU.
They've done a good job, and you can feel covering the 2013 regional. You could feel the fans getting into it and realizing, man, this is something we would like to have again. It's pretty cool to host a regionals. Saratori has the only RBI for the Wildcats. It came back in the first when he was able to knock in Yagi. One and one. I never know what that high strike. I mean, it looks like a ball, but
it's been called.
It goes back to it. Why not?
Again, you don't want to live up there. You don't want to continue to throw it up there. But if you're going to get the call, go back to it. Parker French has used it to his advantage a few times today.
Counts even. Parker's next pitch will be his 85th. They did extend him last weekend. This is ripped, but right at Casey Clemens. Guys, we've seen a lot of line drives for Texas, but also for K-State here that have been right at people.
Both sides, exactly.
You can see right across here. That's where you want to stay below that line. When it gets above it, what happens to it? It gets hammered. He gets hit hard. You got to get that ball below the belt.
You saw Roger taking a look at his son. He knows that. He's able to keep the ball down pretty well throughout his career as Krause steps to the plate. 7 in a row now retired by Parker French.
Well, again, the belt buckle's interesting, but when pitchers are called to strike above the belt buckle or it's consistent, then, and it's not called when it's below at the knees,
yeah.
There are going to be times when you're going to give up some balls hit hard because you're having to pitch upstairs.
Right. To left center. Ranging over is Johnson. This is going to get in the gap. Krause at second will hold up there, and a stand-up 2-out double for Danny Krause.
Good extension right here. Ball again above the belt. Gets good extension out in front. Feet down on the front foot. Gets it in between Johnson and Gerwitz. What a nice job by Ben to get this ball back in to hold him to a double. As shallow as the outfielders are playing today, a lot of times when you see their number, that's 3 bases.
6th hit, but the first extra base hit today for Kansas State. Brings up Tyler Moore, who singled his last time up. It's like everything has been up.
It seems Parker is dropping down. His elbow seems to be lower. He's under the ball. His hand's not on top of the ball. It's causing that breaking ball not to be as sharp. The fastball stays up out of the zone, or in the zone.
And Hossa ranging over. It's going to get past him. They will send home the runner. Here comes the throw. We're tied. Moore ends up at second.
Yep. This ball is actually below the belt there, but it was running in and ran more in the middle of the plate. Did a nice job of just inside outing the baseball. Hinojosa knows he's got to lay out. And Gerwitz right here, I thought he had a chance right here to come up and make the throw. Zane's got a good arm. He just didn't come out of his hand. He came out and bounced it a little bit, trying to not miss the cutoff man, but it ended up allowing the hitter to get all the way to second base anyway. And we've got a tie ball game. I would go back to last week where Parker went 115, 117 pitches. You know, sometimes that first time that you get into that category and that number, the next time out, I don't think you're as sharp sometimes, even though it's been a full 7 days. You know, I'm not saying he's tired at 90 pitches, but I think his window is probably shorter this week than it was last.
He's not as sharp.
Yeah.
The breaking ball's not there. We've seen a few good ones today, breaking balls and a few good sinkers, but for the most part, Parker French has been up in the zone and not as sharp.
Tied at 2, Kansas State with a chance.
Yet only 2 runs.
Right, to take a lead for the first time since they led 1-0 in the top of the first. There's Max Brown. He's 0 for 2.
Kansas State able to get that runner to second base. You said Gerwitz trying not to miss the cutoff man. Well, the cutoff man wasn't there.
Right.
Casey Clemens' first game at first base this year was late getting there,
over.
And the ball was able to go to the plate and the runner advanced to second base.
I will say it's a tough play. I'll get back to that in just a second.
1-1.
Ground ball, especially as a first baseman, my first initial break, I got to break to cover first. I'm not sure if Hinojosa can get to it. Then when I see it through, then I have to break to get over. So there are times in that scenario that it's hard to get there.
Right.
It's just because you've got to be, your first responsibility is to be there. If CJ comes up with it, I got to be at first.
Like Tyler Moore had like a mitten on his right hand. Nice job by our director spotting that. It's 1 and 2. Is that to protect the hand or to stay warm there?
Like a sliding mitt. I think there's probably in the middle of it, if you could see the inside of his arm, I think there's a plastic piece there that keeps your hand from maybe going back if you slide in head first. Keeps your hand stabilized.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-2. Has been especially hot as of late. To short. Hinojosa makes the play, and Parker French able to get out of it, but Kansas State able to tie it up. We got a tight one here at the dish. Here's today's game summary. It is powered by the new Chevy Silverado. Nate Greep, the ace for Kansas State. Career high 6 walks. Didn't have his stuff that Brad Hill said was so good before the game. And Coach Hill told us he's kind of having some back problems. Texas, on the flip side, they had their opportunities. They've left 8 on base. And here we are. We are tied after Moore's single in the 6th inning. Good ball game here, guys. Tied at 2. But, well, Greg, I think if you're Texas, you got to look at those 8 left on base and think, man, we probably should be leading this game.
They probably should be leading this ball game, but like Augie said, he likes the quality at bats. Michael Cantu's hit a good ball to right center. Casey Clemens on the line right at the second baseman with the bases loaded, so they're not catching a break with the runners on, but you do have to do a better job that they haven't been doing lately with runners in scoring position and the bases loaded.
Brandon Corville, the new pitcher from Flower Mound, Texas. A lot of Flower Mound kids we've seen from a lot of different teams, and shows they're playing pretty good ball. Transferred from Midland College, and Casey Clemens will lead it off. And I guess, Zonk, on the flip side, if you're Kansas State, you're thinking, well, we've out-hit Texas 7-4. If we wouldn't have had the 6
they've had
walks.
a runner thrown out at the plate.
Right.
Or they would have a lead. There's no question. They've been probably more consistent offensively and taking advantage of the opportunities they've had.
Casey walked in the 4th and hit a rope in the 1st, but goes down as a line out. 2-1 from Corville. It's 5'11", 200-pounder. Slow, 3-1.
Well, you pitch down there and you say that's where you want to pitch, and that's a ball. It makes it. As a hitter, I'm a happy camper.
Second. He'll throw him out. There's 1 out. Hey, Keith, you're just looking for something up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that pitch is going to be called a ball all day long. I mean, and it is. I mean, that's just where the particular umpire, that's where Mike Morris' strike zone is. You know it, but as a hitter, you got to like it, because the fact is I can look above the belt. All these pitches that are called strike are at the belt or up.
Yeah, you don't want to live up there as a pitcher. You can't not throw the pitches down there because they're good pitches, and hitters will start to think that they're strikes. There's a good strike, good fastball in the outer half of the plate. The Gerwitz right there. But you have to continue to pitch like that. You can't change your game and try to pitch up in the zone.
1-2 to the sophomore from San Antonio.
There's only a few handful of people that can pitch up in the zone. And you better have real good explosion up there. I'm talking about 95 plus.
He whiffs through that. And, well, Texas today, when they've had no outs or 1 out, they're 0 for 9. They're 4 for 9 with 2 outs. Check that, 0 for 10.
That's just one of those where your hands start forward and you just can't stop them. Almost like you're guessing.
Ben Johnson.
Well, that breaking ball by Corville started out right there. I mean, right thigh high. Had some good bite on it. Late bite.
Ben walked and scored in the 1st. He's ground out and a fly out. Well, they always say, you know, in basketball, oh, you scored 36, but yeah, your guy scored 33, so you're +3. Ben has scored 1 run, but he's also thrown out another, so he has impacted this game in a couple different ways. To right, going back is Dalrymple and makes the play. That ball really took off, and hopefully Clayton is all right. It looks like he is, and the Texas baseball fans, as they usually do, showing some class, giving him a standing O. What a play by the Texan who's back home. What a play to end the 6th as Texan Clayton Dalrymple going back. And guys, this ball really took off. Ben showing his power, and I'm not sure Clayton thought it would go this far.
Yeah, Ben's got some pretty good pop, strong young man. One of the best he's hit opposite field this year. That takes a lot of concentration, knowing last year there was some padding there. This year there's just a chain link fence with a little bit of padding. Good concentration and a good catch.
You would think the junior from Coppell will be leading it off, but he's scheduled to hit 4th. 8-9-1 due up, and this is Tyler Wolf. Foul ball.
I would think the Longhorn bullpen here, guys, would start to get active as we get out here. We're in a tie ball game in the last third of the ball game, and they are starting to move around it. Again, it's 96 pitches. It's not like it's a huge number, but this is 2 weeks in a row where Parker's going to be in that 110 pitch area. And I would think he's got a short leash right now.
You can see the bullpen limbering up. Nobody throwing a ball yet.
So Kirby Bello, 53, starting to get loose down there. 1-2 to Wolf, who singled in the 2nd and grounded out to Marlowe in the 4th.
Well, leadoff hitter is so important now for both teams. You'll see small ball. Leadoff hitter means you're going to bunt him into scoring position to give your team an opportunity to try to grab a lead.
Wolf was even trying to get on with a bunt. 3-2, big pitch coming up here.
You want to challenge him here. Do not give him free passes as you get to this point in the ball game.
Misses there, and that's a leadoff walk.
Parker wanted that pitch. You could see his reaction as soon as he delivered. He thought he got the breaking ball to come back to and catch the inner half of the plate. You can watch Parker's reaction as soon as he released it. He thinks he's got him right here. He just thought it came back, and ooh, didn't get the call.
That low one, a little down in the zone.
Skip Johnson going to come out.
I don't think he'll make a move right here. I don't think the bullpen's ready to go at this point. And probably Parker is a good fielding pitcher. So I would think bunt with the 9th guy in the order, Greg. I'm thinking bunt all the way here, and then you're going to get back to the top behind it. So you're looking at, all right, what am I going to do? Let my bullpen get loose and allow Parker, you know, as a senior and he does a good job on the mound fielding his position. So I would think bunt definitely in order here.
Woodkey is 0 for 2. He's the scheduled batter. Came in hitting .213 on the season. He does have 4 sacrifices, which is good for tied for first on the team. So it all sets up for Woodkey to be bunting here.
But you never know.
Oh, that's true.
With Kansas State and Brad Hill, I would imagine the bunt would be on. No show of it right there.
No, but that's why you throw over,
right,
to see if the hitter will tip off what he's doing.
Wolf 1 for 1. Attempting stolen bases. They'll show, and it's ball 1. This gets past Barrera, and that'll move the runner up.
Well, I think this is probably a pass ball. What happens to you sometimes as catcher, you see the hitter square, he gets his hands and the bat in front of you, and the ball moves just a little bit, and you lose sight of it right in that area where you look, and this ball kept moving. It could be called a wild pitch, but it was in the air. I don't think there's a doubt that he should have caught this baseball.
You're thinking, how can he not bunt that?
Yeah.
Just lose the concentration slightly, and with the movement on that pitch.
He's still going to try and bunt it. Go to third. No, he's going to go to first. Thought about it, and he throws it away. Kansas State will take a 3-2 lead. Texas defense letting him down.
And that's just one that you can put that on Parker. He really does a nice job most of the time fielding his position. But he bounces off the rubber here. I think he took his eyes, Greg, right here. He thought about, I can go to third and get an out. And then by the time he got himself up, the runner was that close. He rushed it, got underneath it a little bit with his throw. Boy, it leads to a really tough situation here. Go ahead and run across. Still nobody out in the frame.
It'll be Kirby Bellows coming in. So an E1.
Parker taking his eye off the runner there to think about going to third base. He didn't set himself well. Threw it flat-footed and from the side. Ball never had a chance for Brooks Marlowe to catch.
We'll give you the numbers on Kirby Bello as Kansas State and Tyler Wolf have taken the lead here in Austin. Welcome back. The baseball series against Kansas State continues today and tomorrow based on weather and time. So grab a pen. If game 1 is completed tonight, but game 2 is scheduled to start after 8 p.m., then it will be moved to Sunday. Now, if game 2 is moved to Sunday, the doubleheader will begin at 10 a.m. If we get both games in today, then the Sunday game will begin at 1.
What if we get in 1.5?
Stop. Kirby Bello, the new pitcher for Texas. It's been a cool story for Kirby. It's been a long road here at Texas. Came as a pitcher and a first baseman. Had some injuries, and now the senior from Nederland is really a big part of this Texas bullpen, which they're still trying to figure out.
They are still trying to figure it out, but you look at the numbers, 10 games, second in the Big 12, and I like the bottom one, the 12 strikeouts to only 2 walks. Kirby Bello comes in the game, he gets the ball over the plate, and with his arm angle now and positioning on the mound is really tough on lefties with the breaking ball.
He'll be facing a lefty in Carter Yagi.
2 out of the next 3 hitters are lefties.
Yes, sir.
Bunt situation right here. So you got to anticipate that if you're Texas, same scenario where a man in scoring position, nobody out.
Takes ball 1.
A lot of pressure on Brett Boswell at third base to read this, because left-handers, Greg, as you well know, being a left-hander, you fall that way, so you really do a pretty good job of covering the third base line. You got to read it well if you're the third baseman.
For a strike.
I found myself as a third baseman when I played third that was the toughest one. The right-hander, I knew I had to come get it. As soon as it went down, more times than not, I had to come get it. But there's so many left-handers that do such a good job to getting to balls on that side of the field.
Hit sharply. Marlowe's going to go to third, and they've got him in a rundown. Bello will chase him all the way back as Yagi able to sit at second. And Yagi did a nice job there. He was right before second, just waiting and making sure that if the ball was thrown away, then if he had to retreat, he could.
Well, you don't see it very often. A ball hit to the right side. Marlowe does a nice job. He's shortened up, goes to third. Now the rundown, not a good one. Took too many throws, almost got away right here, but then there was 2 runners at second. You bring them all the way back to the bag. You tag the first one out, but very easily could have got away from him right there. Too many throws in that rundown. You'd like to get that out with just 1 throw.
The old 4-5-6-1. No harm, no foul.
Oh, 1 out. And comes up Dalrymple. Clayton 0 for 2, did sacrifice back in the first inning. Came in hitting .373, the junior from Coppell in the Dallas area. Another good looking cut. Does have a career high 10-game hit streak that's possibly in jeopardy this at bat.
Tough for hitters to see out there right now. We've seen a lot of check swings and kind of goofy swings. Not even.
Well, the lights are on, but not taking any effect at this point.
Stays alive. Clayton is up there with some of the Big 12 batting leaders. Corey Raley at Tech at 429. See Ben Johnson, Cody Jones. We've already seen Taylor Munden, excellent shortstop at West Virginia.
He can hit.
He can. He's a good player. To second. Marlowe looked over there again, but makes the obvious play at first. And well, Texas an out of getting out of this, only giving up a run.
Oh, it would be gigantic. There's no doubt about that. If you can get back into the dugout right here, just trailing by 1 with 9 outs left offensively, it's going to be a huge advantage because already 1 was across and 1 was in scoring position when Kirby came into the game.
Here's Shane Conlon, one of their best hitters. I don't think he'll be bunting here.
We've seen if he can draw Casey Clemens in maybe a little bit at first base, and Casey does come in a few steps.
This is where Kirby can really be tough, lefty-lefty. Two.
It's breaking in 3 planes. It actually comes up, Greg, goes across, and then down. It's a hard pitch to a lefty-lefty matchup, no question.
So it's coming out of your back. Appeal to third, and John Osmus says no.
Nice job by Barrera to smother that, though, keep it in front of him. That runner's at third. Texas lost a game at UTA earlier this week on a wild pitch.
See where he is on the rubber makes that even tougher.
Tougher to pick up from the arm angle and being on that side, same side as the left-handed hitter.
Just gets a piece. Conlon's reached base in 22 of his last 35 plate appearances for a .629 OBP. That'll work. Leads this one up. Hossa makes the play, and Conlon is thrown out. Kansas State takes the lead on a Texas miscue. rain has stayed away just enough for us to get some baseball in, as it is 7th inning stretch time. Kansas State leads Texas 3-2. They've out-hit them 7-4. And yes, those 2 errors for Texas have been costly. Kevin Dunn, Greg Swindell, and Keith Moreland back here at the dish, expecting game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2 will start 45 minutes after this one ends. But Texas hoping that they can get something going. The Longhorns' last 5 losses have been by a total of 7 runs. They trail by 1 here, and 2, 3, 4 due up.
They've hit the ball well a few times, but right now, well isn't going to get it done. They need base runners.
Haven't been able to get the leadoff base runner on enough in the ball game to execute and get guys into scoring position. Even though they had a ton of base runners early in the game where they left 8 on base.
Boy, there have just been some ugly cuts in this game. You're right. On both
Greg
sides.
said it earlier. It's like they don't see they're not seeing the ball.
I mean, that's a good breaking ball there, but that was never a strike.
Ever.
It wasn't in the zone. It was low and went lower.
He goes after that one, and he did not see Corville well at all.
It almost looked like a split finger.
It does.
You get a chance to see it again, watch it. It's a breaking ball, but it goes straight down. I mean, this ball comes out of his hand, and I mean, it is headed down and headed down in a hurry.
Bring up Hinojosa. CJ's 0 for 2 with a walk. Flied out to left field twice. It's been just misty and gray and pretty ugly in Austin really the last month.
Top 3 hitters have struggled in this ball game.
Looking for their first hit, and Hinojosa down in the count 1-2 as that caught the corner.
And that really hasn't been the norm for this Texas team.
No. Gets in on him to left field, and coming in is Krause, who pretty much plays a beer league co-ed left field.
Rover?
Rover. He plays a shallow, and I think a lot of that is the conditions today.
Yeah.
And he does move back well on the ball too.
Goes back well. Ball's not carrying.
Well, at this point of the game in the 7th inning with a 1-run lead, you should be back a little bit now. We got a no double situation. You want to try to take away the extra base hit.
And he did back up. Guys, how about this? Texas, they're still hitless before 2 outs. They're 0 for 12.
It's hard to put anything together if you're waiting.
1-1 to Barrera, who doubled and got an RBI in the first. Also came around to score on the Michael Cantu bases loaded walk. And he struck out looking and flied out to left. Put a charge into the ball. To third. Saratori, and this is going to get past Conlon. Barrera is going to quickly get back to first.
Brad Hill told us earlier today, first thing you ask him, so what have you done defensively? He said, we've been average at best. He said, our numbers look like they're okay, but this is just one of those situations where you just aim it. You get in great position, you know you got lots of time, and you just aim the throw, and well, that extends the inning, makes your pitcher throw more pitches, also brings the go-ahead run to the plate.
E5 as Barrera will stay at first, and they'll bring up Brooks Marlowe. Brooks has half of the Texas hits today with 2. Big cut at that, 1-1. Not sure that would have been called a strike. It's a good pitch, though.
It's a good pitch for Brooks. He likes that low inside fastball, but it was just called a ball. But he did take a good hack at it.
Ranging over is Dalrymple, and Texas is done here in the second. Good job by Corville as Kansas State leads by 1.
It's a long road.
Texas Baseball on Longhorn Network is brought to you by American Campus Communities, where students love living. Reserve your housing online today at livewc.com.
Crowd has picked up a little bit considering, oh, that's going on. So you're not only wet, but you're obviously at the dish, so you're going to be cold. And, well, Texas bats have been cold as they trail Kansas State 3-2. Only 4 hits for the Longhorns. And Kansas State starter Nate Griep had a career-high 6 walks. Texas had opportunities to really get some separation. Keith, you talked about that. Texas didn't do it, let Kansas State stay in the ball game, and now the Horns trail.
Well, Greg said it earlier. Casey Clements hit a rocket with them loaded. That was a good at bat, hit it as hard as you could hit it. Michael Cantu hit one into right center with second and third, and you hit the ball hard, good place behind it or right at people, and haven't been able to make it pay off. Now you got to throw zeros up if you're Texas right now and give yourself a chance.
4, 5, and 6. Steve Saratori lined out his last time up. Does have a single and an RBI. He's a pretty good looking hitter. On the flip side, Greg, Corby Bello came in and kind of did what Kirby's done all year his senior year, really put out the fire.
Coming in throwing strikes. His pitching coach Skip Johnson has a lot of confidence in this man on the mound right now. He's pitched a lot. It's his 11th game now.
Yeah.
A lot of innings, 15 2/3 innings now. And coming in last inning and holding it down. Nobody out, runner on second base. Held him to no runs after that. I mean, that's confidence, you would think. Now maybe we'll put some life into this Texas team. It just doesn't seem to have the energy in them today.
They don't. One to the sophomore from Austin, Minnesota. Hit well. Nice play by Casey Clemens. He showed last year he knows what he's doing over there defensively.
He has to go to his left a couple of steps, and right here, watch this, right at the end, this ball jumps up on him. Does a good job of gloving it, taking it to the bag himself. No flip.
Yeah, that second hop all the way. Ball hits pretty crisp, hits the ground, comes down the second hop. It always has a top spin. Got that extra hop out of it. Able to make the play easily.
Off of Boswell, and Brett's had some problems at third. Already has 1 error. We'll see if this is his second. Will go down as an E5, I believe.
That ball was one hopper, short hops him, but a play again that, see right there, Brett Boswell has to make that play.
Yep. Third miscue of the day for Texas. Second for Boswell. The first one led to a run. Now you got to overcome it.
Here's Tyler Moore.
This is a guy that junior college transfer. We highlighted him of what he's done. He's driven in 17 runs, leads their team in RBIs. He's been a tough out. And this is crunch time right now. Can ill afford to be chasing more than one.
Keep an eye on Krause. And he is 4 for 4 stealing bags this season. Pretty athletic team for K-State. Coach Hill said we want to run it. Just got to get on.
Well, good count here, 1-1. Even though Bello does a nice job of just being left-handed, helps him, there's no doubt. But he does get rid of the ball pretty quickly with a little slide step. But sometimes when you put hit and run on, you just say, hey, we're going on first movement. Greg, you said last weekend many times, you know, there's no sense not going twice in a row, as he did right there. Throw over, come set, go over again. Sometimes 3 times is not even bad.
I like 3. But once you do that, for Kirby Bello, you have to concentrate also on that hitter. A lot of times you can throw over, and lose what's happening at the plate. Not those strikes. Kirby Bello, a good job right there, getting the ball back over the plate.
Nice job by Barrera to snag that. Texas fans appreciate it.
Well, you just don't anticipate this as a catcher. You're looking for a fastball away, and that's one of those where the best you can do is just try to get your glove up to it. And then the momentum of your leaping, and then all of a sudden you catch a ball in your glove with your arm extended, it sort of pulls you forward. Well, this is where I run again, and that's why I think Bello's going to first. I put my runner in motion here, even against the left-hander.
Well, also in that situation, you just saw a fastball way out of the zone. Kirby Bello throws a lot of breaking balls, a lot of breaking balls in the dirt.
Not taken off.
Not in the dirt.
My main concern, too, if you're Brad Hill, is I'm trying to stay out of the double play. I mean, I want to give myself a chance to tack on here and stay away from a ground ball double play.
Freshman flamethrower Kyle Johnston getting loose. It's in on him.
You have the ability to get that breaking ball over like Kirby Bello does. You don't have to throw hard. You have to hit your spots with the fastball, because it's going to look 5 or 6 miles an hour harder. That was a good location on that fastball.
He's staying alive. He's been very successful against left-handers. He's 8 for 15 at a .533 clip this season.
Well, Greg is absolutely right, though. It may not be able to throw 90, but it looks 90 to the hitter. If you can get a breaking ball over on a consistent base, and all of a sudden the fastball looks a foot and a half quicker.
He's looking for their 25th double play of the season. That would get them back at the plate and trying to nibble away at that 1-run lead.
I think Kirby was able to backdoor a breaking ball right here. He can roll over and get a double play.
Runner does take off. This is lifted in the air. Colin Shaw will call off Gerwitz, and there are 2 outs. Big out there.
It just felt like at some point he was going to run. It took 7 pitches to get it done, but he finally did get in motion.
Brings up the big man, the center fielder, Max Brown. He's 0 for 3, struck out, flied out, and grounded out. Did make a really nice play in center field. Kind of got turned around, but snap throw, and he's back.
If you're Boswell here with a big right-handed hitter at the plate, you've got to protect the line right here. This is, you can see him over closer to the line. You can't allow a double right here. Even though you're trailing, you just want to allow yourself to face another batter if there's an extra base hit.
Runner takes off, throw down, got him. Krause not happy with it, but Kelly Nutt rings him up. Well, Texas didn't get a call at second last weekend, but able to get out of it with Barrera and the tag on the foot. Horns coming to the plate. Welcome back. Danny Krause was thrown out by Tres Barrera. I think all of us up here were like, wow, I'm not really sure if he got him. But guys, a second and closer look. Good call by Kelly Nutt because he was tagged on the foot, and a great shot from our guys here.
You'll see from this angle right here, the hand will be right about here, and the tag is made. So very good call out there by Kelly Nutt.
Boswell will lead it off for Texas. Only a few low strikes we've seen called today. Boswell, Cantu, and Clemens do here. Brett's had a good day at the plate. He's got a couple walks and a single. Make that another hit. Boswell's going to round first. And the throw, it's a stand-up double.
Just what the doctor ordered that time. Breaking ball, didn't try to pull it. Stayed inside it. Boy, put a good swing on it right here. Tried to backdoor a breaking ball, hands down inside. You can't do it any much better than that, I can tell you. And then hustling into second base. Got to get him over, get him in.
8th double this season. Michael Cantu would expect to be sacrificing here, but who knows? Corville out for another inning of work here. Relief of Nate Greep, who did not have his best stuff, but battled.
Firmly to third base.
Takes a strike.
It's interesting.
We've seen him this year argue, and in this situation, I thought 3-2 in the 8th, you'd be laying him down. But he does have a lot of faith in Cantu as a young hitter. Good stop behind the plate by Moore.
Wow. Saved a sacrifice bunt right there.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's one of them you can't train this. He gets out, tries to get in position. It's one of those where you're just, I'm trying to do the best I can get something in front of it, and not only does he get in front of it, just smothers it.
With the spin of the breaking ball, it came back towards him.
Yeah, the bounce back.
Able to put some mid on it.
Show it early this time. Foul ball. So 1-2 now to Cantu.
You can see Michael in the way he looks. Just, oh, I'm trying to get the bat out of the way. It still caught me. He was not trying to bunt that. He was trying to pull the ball back, or pull the bat back, and the ball just caught a piece of it. Now he'll be swinging the bat.
Clemens on deck. A good stop. It's 2-2. Moore's done a nice job behind the plate.
You take a beating back there. He caught that one on the forearm of his left hand. You can see him try to reach down and just take some of the sting out of it.
Two to right center. This is going to be in. We're tied as Boswell comes around. Cantu is up at second with an RBI double.
He might be the best on the team going the other way, Keith.
Well, he does a nice job of pulling his hands inside. What he does better than anybody right now is he stays inside the ball with his upper body. His front side opens up, but he keeps his hands down inside, goes out and gets good extension out through the ball. We're going to have a pinch runner. That is a heck of an at-bat for the true freshman from Corpus Christi as he ties the game up, and now go-ahead run 180 feet away out at second base.
Well, Texas offense answering with back-to-back doubles. Boswell going the other way. Cantu going the other way. And Taylor Stell will now come in to pinch run. And guys, you would think bunt here, correct?
Well, I'm in a bunt situation here. There's no question. I think we're going to have a pitching change here as all the wheels are turning right now.
It's Josh Reynolds, who's a pitching coach. He's in his 5th season. Did a heck of a job a couple years ago. And he didn't have maybe the best arms, but they were able to win the Big 12 and win that regional. As it's going to be number 21, Bryce Ward, who's a true freshman from Jenks, Oklahoma. Went to Jenks High School. Brian Pickrell, a Texas defensive end. He's a Jenks boy. It's obviously been a pretty good high school. We'll see what the freshman can bring as we welcome you inside the booth. It's Kevin Dunn alongside Greg Swindell and also Keith Moreland. And Greg, I want to talk to you. What have you seen from this game that stands out?
Well, I think Michael Cantu. I mean, the offense has been really good today for Texas, taking good at bats, taking their walks. They just weren't able to come through with a big hit. But Michael Cantu's ability to drive the ball the other way, he did it earlier in the game, and the ball didn't drop for him. But a huge hit for the freshman right there.
Keith,
well, I'm taking for the game is Texas has given up a lot. I mean, it's been defensively. They've allowed Kansas State to stay in the game by the mistakes defensively. Parker French obviously pitched much better than the outcome. He's not going to have a decision in the game, but part of that was his defensive throw early in the game. And the other part of that is you've got to take advantage of when you get the opportunity. Texas had 9 guys left on base coming into this inning. Finally took advantage of a leadoff double.
Yeah, and both starters, Greg, did not have their best stuff, but both, give them credit, battled and kept their team in it.
Well, that's why they're number ones. That's why they go out on Friday night, in this case Saturday, because they're the best on the staff. They're the guys that are going to give you everything they have, even when they don't have their best stuff. Parker French obviously didn't have the sinker that he wanted today. Ball was up a little bit. And on the other side, Nate Griep the same way, struggling with some back problems, struggling with his control, a lot of walks, but they battled and kept their teams in the ballgame.
All right, let's get to our new pitcher here. It's going to be Bryce Ward. Mentioned he's a freshman from Oklahoma. 5'11", 180-pounder. Greg, you know anything about the young man?
A good slider, lots of sliders, pretty good fastball. Like you said, true freshman. He's got 7, his 8th appearance of the year. Good numbers. Strikeout to walk ratio there, 8-1. Very good stuff, but he's a young man with a really good slider.
Tied at 3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Pinch runner Taylor Stell is at second. Came in to pinch run for Michael Cantu, who tied this game up with a double to right center. Kansas State had got 1 in the first. Texas answered with 2. We were scoreless until the top of the 6th inning when Kansas State got a solo run. They added another one in the 7th to take a 3-2 lead, and Texas has answered here in the 8th. It's been a good back and forth ball game as you take a look at the scoreboard. Those 3 errors. It's really been a bugaboo for Texas this year, not only defensively but also errors offensively.
Yeah, just little mental mistakes at times. You're going to make a physical error every once in a while, but it's the mental things that you've got to overcome. But right now, I got to get the job done. Get him over, get him in. You can take a lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Casey Clemens to face Bryce Ward. You're expecting bunt.
Well, that's an inside step move just to see if Clemens, I mean, that's what you put that on if you're the pitching coach or the manager and say, let's just put the inside step move on and see if Clemens gives it away that they're bunting or not right here. I truly believe he is going to be bunting here.
I'm going against it.
Really?
He's hit the ball the right side a couple times today.
And he does again to right center. Taylor Stell's going to have to hold up. Now they're going to send him as it's bobbled. He's coming home, and Texas has a lead.
Casey Clemens hit the ball hard earlier in the game, had a ground ball to the right side. His last at bat right here, getting his first hit of the season, and a big one for Texas. See right there, doesn't get all of it, but enough to get it out into right center field. Taylor Still froze for a second, was not going to be sent, but when this happened, the bobble and Taylor Still's speed, he was able to get home with the go-ahead run.
I guess Taylor didn't have a good angle on that one.
He couldn't figure out if it was going to get caught or not. He was going back to the bag, but he does come in to score. But Greg, you're absolutely right. Allowing the left-hander to swing the bat in case he did the job.
Well, we're expecting Gurwitz to bunt as he tries to lay it down and bunts it foul. That'll go down as a single and an E9, so no RBI for Casey Clemens. That's a tough luck, but
with a big knock.
Yeah, I don't think his teammates or Casey care about that. Zane does have a sack, got one down in the fourth. Trying to get another one down here. Texas looking for a little insurance now. Gets the breaking ball down. Play is at first, and there's one out, but Gurwitz does the job. Second time he's done that today.
We'll keep adding. Just want to try to find a way to keep the line moving, because it's the first time we've seen really emotion out of this club and this crowd today. And they scored the two early, and it just went flat until here at the bottom of the eighth. It all started with Boswell's leadoff double.
Here's Ben Johnson. He's at .417 this year with runners in scoring position, and he's got a duck on the pond and Clemens at second.
Again, another error leading to a run.
That'd been the story of this game. 5 errors combined. 3 from Texas, 2 from the Wildcats. But all of them have been impactful.
Well, some scores around the Big 12 last night. You know, up in Fort Worth, there were 6 unearned runs in the game, where Oklahoma State won the ball game late with a walk-off, not a walk-off because it was on the road, but a extra inning home run.
Just foul. John Osmus had to show his quick feet and then also say it was foul.
Get a look at this one. Good call.
Well, that was blocked for me. I don't know.
I couldn't see it either.
I couldn't tell whether it was fair or foul.
Ben obviously thought that was fair.
A lot closer than the 300 feet I'm from it right now.
See, that's why I have on my new glasses.
There you go.
I like the new glasses. It's a good look. Looks like.
All it has to do is to go over the edge of the bag.
Right.
They can land foul.
It's underneath this one. Coming in is the center fielder Brown, and there's 2 outs.
Well, I'm going to ask you right now, speculation. Kirby Bellows done a nice job for Texas. If you're Skip Johnson, do you go to your young freshman, or do you keep Bello in the game?
I'm bringing the freshman in. He's been warming up. He's up right now in the bullpen. I believe at some point in the season, you're going to have to
establish a role.
Establish a closer. That man right there has done it this year so far, and I think he could be the one that will be the closer for this team.
Maybe take off the training wheels a little bit and kind of let him pitch a little more.
Let him go. I think Tuesday you saw him come out of the game because Sunday he had a 2-inning save.
Yeah.
I mean, threw a lot of pitches.
Shaw to right. They're going to send home Clemens. Here comes the throw. Not in time. There's your insurance.
Nice job by Colin Shaw to step in, get a pitch he can handle right off the bat, going to hit right away, fastball away, puts a good swing on it. And Clements, understanding with 2 outs, you're not going to be held up. It's into right center, coming in to score. And boy, that is a huge insurance run for Texas here in the bottom of the 8th.
8th hit of the game for Texas. They now without hit Kansas State 8-7. There's Hinojosa.
Forward this inning. After hits.
Have been this inning. You're right. The double from Boswell, the double from Cantu, the single from Clemens, and a single from Shaw. Who says you're not good at math?
Hey, as long as they're just one.
Keith, you've seen anything from CJ that would indicate he is getting out of the slump?
Well, last week, I really felt like he was doing a better job keeping his front half in and staying through the ball. Today, I've seen him pull off one ball. And also, the other thing you do, what happens when you're trying to come out of something, a lot of times you start guessing too much. And I think at times he's guessing pitches instead of, trying to see the ball and stay through it. And we haven't seen very few hits to the right side of the infield.
Yeah, CJ and Zane, two guys that have struggled. When they're going well, they're usually going the other way.
They have the ability to hit the ball the other way.
One runner does take off. Throw over and a nice dig by Conlon. Serratori's had some problems at third, but his first baseman is able to pick him up. Texas able to pick up 3 runs. Cantu and Casey Clemens getting it done. Horns trying to close it out. Due to time, 81-pound junior. He's from Bryan, Texas. Came as an outfielder and a pitcher and has kind of come into his own now in his junior year with a 3.27 earned run average.
Been throwing the ball well. Hasn't fielded his position that well. It's cost him a couple games. But he'll come in to get the lefties. He's done real well developing as a pitcher. Right now is a huge spot for Ty Colbert to get the ball over the plate. Make sure of 1 out right here.
It's the thing that I see with Ty is he hasn't had the effectiveness so far this season with his changeup that we saw last year. And that might be because he's put in a different role. And Greg, I'll ask you, if you're all of a sudden, instead of going into a spot where you've got to get maybe 3 outs or 4 outs and you're going to come out of the game whether it's righty or lefty, to going to where you've got to get the last 3 outs, does it change the way you use one of your pitches?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to have a feel for them, for one, and warming up. I mean, he knows 3 out of the 4 hitters are going to – they pinch hitting here again?
Yes.
Yeah, so he had 3 out of the 4 hitters coming up were going to be lefties. So he wants to get that breaking ball going.
Sure, you get a feel for it.
Get a feel for it. Right now, he just wants to get a feel for a fastball and get an out on a bunt.
Keith Browning is the pinch hitter, not showing bunt, actually takes a strike.
Now that surprises me.
Me too. Sophomore from Hoffman Estates, Illinois. After Alex B was introduced and Colbert was brought in, so Brad Hill with a little answer. Still swinging. Clemens will go to second. They cannot turn it, but it keeps the double play in order. And guys, I'm baffled. You guys played the major leagues. Why do you do that there?
I would be bunting in that scenario, but he was swinging. But a nice job by Casey he didn't hesitate. He went right ahead, got that out, which is basically what you call the lead out, which is the tying run. Now the tying run stays at first, and you got lefty-lefty matchup. So it was a smart play by Casey Clemens, but I'm not sure why bunt wasn't in order right there. I would have been bunting in that scenario. Put the tying run in scoring position with just 1 out. And
the top of the order coming, so you'd think that Clayton Dalrymple, your leading hitter, would get a shot, or Conlon, as Carter Yagi, the leadoff man, steps to the plate. Yagi not the easiest guy to double up, but it also keeps the double play in order.
Sure does.
Brown at third. And 4 strikes, 1-1.
I think our radar gun on our screen today's
Yeah, it's
been excellent all year. I think
today.
the rain got to it a little bit. We're gonna fix it. Trust me.
Oh, I hear you.
But yeah, that had more pop than 78. Good stop, and that will keep the double play in order as Browning thought about it, but did not go. Yagi's really struggled against lefties this year. He's hitting 185.
Where you don't want to go 3-1 here. If you're going to, this is the pitch you want to throw a strike with.
Got in on him and pops him up. Marlowe's going to call off Clemens, and Texas an out away from taking game one. This will be a big one with 3 in the bottom of the 8th and having to use 3 pitchers here in the 9th.
So far. I mean, we're double barreled down there with righties in the bullpen.
Good point. It'll be up to the Texan, the junior from Coppell, Clayton Dalrymple.
This is another no double situation. Infield will be in a stay away from the double. Outfielder, you're thinking let the ball in front of you, but you don't want anything over your head right here. In a no double situation with the tying run at first.
Well, Brown means nothing to Texas at third. Browning means everything to both teams. Good matchup here. Clayton looking for his first hit of the game. Came in as the leading hitter at a .373 clip. To second. Marlowe over to Clemens, and Texas with a big comeback win. And they take game one of the series against Kansas State 5-3.
They stuck with their game plan at the plate. Stuck with their game plan. We're hitting the ball hard earlier in the game a few times, just right at Kansas State outfielders, infielders. Stuck with it. Got 4 hits in the bottom of the 8th. Put up a 3 spot. Able to fight back, claw back, and good job by a bullpen to come in that doesn't know the role yet, but enough to close it out and win the game.
Once again, our final score, Texas 5 and Kansas State 3. Be sure to join us tonight in approximately 45 minutes as the baseball series against K-State will continue with game 2 of the doubleheader. Coming up next, it's wide open, hook, line, and stuttered. Have some fun with our boy Casey. For Greg Swindell and Keith Moreland, I'm Kevin Dunn saying so long from the dish. We'll see you in a bit.